All right. Hi, guys. So, my patient is that I've chosen that I found pretty interesting is Kathleen Kelly, who I affectionately named from my favorite movie, You've Got Mail, if anyone's watched it. All right, let's get started. So, Kathleen is a 55-year-old female who's had a stapedectomy due to being diagnosed with otosclerosis. So she came to Southern Crescent ENT, where I'm currently doing my first internship, in 2013, where she came to us wearing a Widex behind the ear hearing aid with a skeleton mold in the right ear, because that's the ear that had the otosclerosis, and she'd been wearing that hearing aid for 15 years. She was referred to our clinic by a local otologist who she had been seeing for several years, but she didn't want to commute, I guess, for hearing aid tune-up and follow-up, etc., to the otologist, so she came to Southern Crescent because it was in closer proximity to where she lived. So this was her initial audiogram when she came to visit us. This was in February 2017, where she brought this over from the otologist. So she, as you can see, she's had a mild to slight hearing loss in the high frequencies with a Carhart's notch at 4 kilohertz, which, as we know, is suggestive of significant noise exposure. And in the right ear, she's had a moderate mixed hearing loss with a slight dip at 2 kilohertz. That's where she had the otosclerosis. And her word rec was 52% in the right ear and 100% in the left ear. So in terms of intervention, she initially started off with a Widex BTE, as I mentioned. This is before the time of a receiver in the ear. So she wasn't happy with the sound quality of this behind the ear hearing aid from Widex. So Southern Crescent recommended a Resound Lynx 2 receiver in the ear for the right ear. So she said that she had noticed a change in sound quality but didn't necessarily like the change. But she agreed to try the hearing aid during the trial period of 2 weeks to see if she adjusted to the sound. And we discussed during the follow-up appointment that we would discuss other options for hearing aids. So it turns out that she was not happy with the Resound hearing aid, and therefore she was fit with a Phonak Audeo V70, so the mid-level 312 hearing aid, which she expressed that she was happy with the sound quality. However, over time she expressed that she was still struggling with speech understanding and sound localization. And she'd always, been accustomed to having programs with her hearing aids, so we made sure to continue having those programs for music and speech and noise, etc. So up until recently, when I came on board, a couple weeks ago, she came back and she brought in this audiogram. As you can see, her hearing has declined, and so the left ear is now moderate high frequency sensorineural hearing loss with a noise notch at 4 kilohertz, and then the right ear turned into a moderate to profound slightly sloping sensorineural hearing loss. So before it was mixed, and now it's just a pure sensorineural hearing loss. Her word rec also decreased. She has 32% in the right ear and 96% in the left ear. So in terms of intervention, because of this decline now in hearing, her current amplification is just not working. She's disappointed and frustrated to the point where during the appointment, she was almost in tears. So she had discussed with her otologist and also the audiologist here at Southern Crescent about a Baha device. So she's exploring that, and even in having a support group online to discuss people's experiences with their Baha. So I thought that this case was unique because of her asymmetries, she's had an MRI to completely rule out acoustic neuroma. She's also discussed eustachian tube dilation surgery, which we explained to her perhaps may not be the most suitable treatment option because she doesn't have that conductive component anymore. And, pressure and oral fullness isn't really an issue for her. So her and her otologist, because we don't do implantable devices at Southern Crescent, are discussing the option of Baha further. In looking at this case, I felt that a cross hearing aid would probably be best to try at least to see if that helps with that right ear. So perhaps I'm hoping the next visit she'll be willing to try perhaps a cross hearing aid. If, for whatever reason, the Baha, she's, doesn't, they come to the conclusion that that's not suitable. I also thought maybe a cochlear implant would maybe a possibility. Just did my research on cochlear implants and single-sided deafness, and there is some research to say that there is some benefit. However, patients obviously have to meet the criteria in terms of the duration of their hearing loss, binaural word rec scores, and then interference with acoustic signal processing from the good ear. So I just left that little research article there to explore more. But yeah, definitely thought that she was an interesting patient. I hope that we continue to see her and discuss options that will help. Definitely don't like to see a patient frustrated and with their hearing aids. So, yep. All right. Bye.